What's up guys, welcome back once again. Friends, today's story that we are going to explain is the story of a 19-year-old girl whose talent was considered useless by everyone, but the same talent made her rich. This thing will surprise you. We see a girl named Tom in a bank. He asks for a loan from the manager there. But how will a bank manager give a loan to a teenager now? This is what he tries to explain to her. That's why he leaves there. The next day we see him in school. Actually, Tom is an online gamer. He plays a lot of games and he is quite good at it. One day he is playing a game when a stranger gamer sends him a message asking him to sell for crates of this game. I will give you 80,000 rupees in return. Tom is surprised to hear this and starts thinking how someone can give so much money in return for these crates. But he doesn't have an account. That's why he goes home and gives him his grandfather's account. A few days later, he goes and withdraws the money. His grandfather was surprised to see how this boy is earning so much money at such a young age. At the same time, Tom was thinking that if he can earn so much money from these 4 crates, then if he starts selling all of them, how much will he earn? Because he is a good gamer, that's why he has a lot of crates. Now he does the same and slowly starts selling all the crates. With all the money he earns, he starts buying some things for himself. The biggest thing, in which was a car. Yes, friends, a car. And then he goes to school with the same car. But his principal scolds him a lot. But his girlfriend Sonia is very happy with him. After which they both go for a drive. When they come home, Tom meets his parents. Their financial condition is very bad. They have taken loans for Tom's studies. And when they see his car, they get angry. They ask him to return it. His mother asks him if he is playing gambling. But he explains to them that he just plays online games. And that's how he earned that money. And we can see that his parents' words have no effect on him. And that's why he starts playing games again. This way, many months pass. Now Tom's circumstances had changed. He didn't live like before. We know that when there is a lot of money coming in from abroad, he spends it the same way. A few days ago, he took an entrance exam. And he failed in that too. But it didn't matter to him. And the next day, he goes and buys the latest PS4. He comes home and starts playing. But his dad was tired of his useless spending. He doesn't have enough money to get him admitted to a college. That's why people think of sending him to a hostel. Now Tom understands his dad's words. That's why he fills a college admission form. But his fees were 80,000. And he only had 12,000. That's why he thinks of earning money, but when he opens the game, he wakes up. Because his account was frozen. He had broken the community guidelines. That's why he will never be able to play the game. Then he gets an idea. He goes to the same shop owner who told him that since this game has been released for a few days, the sale of DVD players has increased a lot. So, Tom goes there and says that send me 50 DVD players at a cheap price. I want to sell them in my own way. The owner agrees immediately. And then Tom brings all those players home. But when he plays it, all of them turn out to be useless. Then what? He runs to the shop owner and tells him all his problems. But the owner tells him the opposite and drives him away. Tom breaks into his shop and tries to kill him. But he manages to escape and returns home. On the way, he meets his dad, whom he puts in his car for the first time. Looking at his sad face, he says that I can give you some money if you want to do this business of DVD players. But he refuses because he doesn't want to hurt him. Here, when Tom is sleeping one night, he steals a necklace from his mom and sells it. He gets admission in a high school where his girlfriend Sonia studies. But the lectures, they seem useless to him. We know that he is not interested in studying at all. So he gives a tape recorder to his friend and tells him to record everything that the teacher says. Later I will listen to it. He comes to the auditorium where Sonia was rehearsing. That's why he can't meet her. On the way home, he sees a shop which has a lot of machines for exhibition. He buys a machine from the machines. When he comes home, his dad tells him again what was the need for this. But Tom doesn't say anything and something else is going on in his mind. He thinks, while sleeping, that he doesn't even know how to cook. So how will he learn to cook the things that are made in it? He decides to go to the street food shop and see how chow mein is made. He does the same. He writes every step on his phone and starts cooking when he comes home. In the first time, he is very bad at it. But in the second time, when he feeds his mom and dad, they like it a lot. From here, Tom's brain turns on. Why don't they start selling it? Because so many people don't have such machines. Everyone makes it by hand. If it starts selling, he can earn good money. He takes a place on rent, and when he goes to school, he makes his grandfather sit there. But many days go by and no machine is sold. Tom has no idea how to do business. So if you want to buy a BMW, you will have to stop sitting with auto people. Now he goes to the place where millions of things are bought and sold in a day. He was surprised to see the things there. People were saying different kinds of offers. He writes them all in his book. He notices everything very carefully, how to attract the customer. Then he comes back and puts all those things in his shop, but no result comes out of it. Many days go by and there is no profit. So Tom rents a shop for which he had to pay a lot of money. After a few days, his exams started. He was sitting in the hall, but he had the same shop. In his mind, how did it go wrong? When people came, his phone started ringing and he went to pick it up. His ma'am and his teacher told him to give the paper. Tom had to choose between his exams and his business. He chose his business and came to the shop. He noticed that the shop was crowded and he had to buy 2 more machines. Tom and his grandfather were very happy, but they said that the success of one night lasts only for one day. The next day, the manager comes to him and tells him that the smoke from the machine is ruining the ceiling of the mall. You have to fix it or we will have to cancel your contract. Tom gets scared, but when they leave, the mall closes. So he starts painting the place in which his mother also helps him. Seeing his son working so hard, he is very happy. He never expected this. But then the guard comes and asks him to leave. Now it's time to close the mall, but Tom wants to stay a little longer, but the guard doesn't agree. So he asks him to bribe him. But the guard was a very honest person. He tells his mother that you should teach your daughter what is the importance of time and people. Now Tom gets angry and starts leaving. His mother gives him another shock and tells him that his father has a lot of debt. And that's why he has to go to Thailand and you have to stop this job. But Tom refuses. But seeing his mother crying like this, he agrees. He was helpless, and the next day we see the whole family at the airport. But Tom refuses to go at the right time because he had the same shop thing going on in his mind. He wants to do something big in his life and earn money like he used to earn before. That's why he promises his parents that the day his studies are over, he will come to them. They agree and leave their son alone here. But he can't do anything. Now one day when things get worse, the manager comes and cancels the contract because his mall was being damaged. Now Tom doesn't understand anything. His problems were not less that the next day a notice comes in which he has to vacate the house because his dad has not paid the loan. And now the house is sealed. He gets worried about what to do. First his business is gone and now his house too. What trouble did he get into? After this, Tom starts living alone. He doesn't talk to anyone. His family is also far from him. But one day Sonia sees him. She tells him a lot that why are you not replying to my message? Tom doesn't say anything. He just keeps crying. He was all alone. He hugs her. They roam together in the car. Here Sonia brings street food called seaweed from Chinatown. When Tom eats it, he really likes it. He eats it all. Meanwhile, he gets a new idea that this street food has not yet come to his city. He can sell it and earn good money. That's why he sells his first machine and buys a machine to make seaweed instead. But the biggest task was to match the taste of that seaweed. He has to make it himself and bring the same taste. He tries very hard. His grandfather also helps him a lot, but there is no success. One night it rains a lot and Tom comes home from college and sees that his grandfather had fallen on the ground. Actually, his leg slipped and he immediately takes him to the hospital. He prays to God that nothing happens to him. Thankfully, his life is saved. But until he recovers, he has to do all the work himself. But still, he has not succeeded. He does not give up. All the seaweeds he brought were soaked in the rain last night, but they were in plastic, so there was no water in them. Tom also fries them. When it comes to tasting, he goes crazy, because he was tasting the same and he understands that the most important thing to make seaweed is moist. And what he got from the rain, he understood the whole game. After which he can become perfect. Now he goes to his grandfather and feeds him, which he likes very much. Then he sets up a stall in the same mall, and this time he makes it from home and takes it, so that there is no smoke. Gradually, their product started selling. Everyone finds it new and they like it. Now Tom's only goal was to somehow pay off his dad's loan. Then he gets a call from his mom, who asks him if he goes to school. He lies to her that, yes. Then he asks his dad, how much is your loan? He thinks it is 1 or 2 million. But he tells her that it is 40 million bucks. Now listening to this, Tom realizes that it will take his whole life to collect so much money. He comes home and listens to sad songs. And when his radio battery runs out, he goes to the store to buy it, where he sees the logo, which was a very big company, and his stores are all over the world. Tom thinks that if he talks to this company, then his product can be sold all over the world, and then he will be able to pay off that loan. So the next day he goes to that company. Other people like him were there who brought their product here. He observes them well, how they are telling everything. But when it's Tom's turn, that lady gives him the packaging of her product and refuses him, because she was very ordinary and not attractive. And the biggest thing was that her market rate was very high. Now Tom gets sad listening to this and comes back home. And outside he finds Sonia, who shouts at him that you should focus on your studies and leave all this. But Tom tells her to go and she goes away. And then Tom gets very angry. He wanted to sell his product to the world. And he goes to a packaging company. And he makes the packaging according to his needs, which will attract the youngster. And he goes back to that company with the same packaging. But it's already evening. And he doesn't get any response. He thinks that people don't like him. That's why he leaves all his seabed in the lift. But he says that even God supports those who try. The employee of that office gets the package, and when he tastes it, he gets surprised, because he has never tasted such a good product. At last, the lady also gets the remaining package. After eating it, she realizes that this product is really good, and she immediately fixes the meeting with Tom. Next day, Tom reaches the office of 7-Eleven. Among all the agents, he was the only 19-year-old who was sitting. The only difference was that he was the CEO of a company. The manager tells him that, we liked your product and we want you to prepare 70,000 packets in a month. Will you be able to do it? Tom gets surprised and agrees. Then she says that tomorrow our team will come to see your factory and inspect if you are following. Tom used to make it in the backyard of his house. He didn't have a factory. That's why he goes to the bank. This is the same scene that we saw in the beginning of the story. He doesn't get a loan because of his young age. That's why Tom sells his car. And then he rents a shop. He fixes everything there. On the same day, he returns from the station and he sees Sonia there. He goes to talk to her, but then he sees that he is with another girl. That's why he comes back and his heart was broken. But now his entire focus was on his business. On the same day, the team comes to check his factory. They see some shortcomings, like there was no proper cover on the corner of the light, and the CW system was not right. But they say that you are doing so much at such a young age. Tom was very hopeful that he would succeed this time. Everything was at stake. In a few days, the house will also be gone from his hands. And then one day he comes in the morning, which everyone was waiting for. He gets a fax from the company, but when the last information is printed in it, the ink of these people runs out. Now he goes out and he reads it, in which it is written that his contract has been signed and his product has been approved. He did it, and there was no place from that day to the entire month. He does not waste any time. He leaves everything and prepares 70,000 packets in a month. When the time comes to deliver, he hugs his grandfather and says thank you because he was the only one who could do it. But he gets late, his stuff is not loaded, and the manager refuses to let him in. Now he joins his hands in front of him and tells him that he has made it by waking up many nights. Seeing his dedication, the man also melts, and finally Tom's product is loaded. Then he calls his mom and tells her to come back because everything is fine. His seabed will be sold all over the world. At the end of the story, we are told that this story is based on a true event. Even today, Tom lives with his family in the same house. He also paid a loan of $40 million. And after 2 years, his product became so popular that he had to hire 2,700 employees. Because now he sells his seabed in 27 countries. We see Tom traveling in business class, and where he has now become a billionaire. He tells us all that whenever you are in trouble, try to solve it. If you give up, the game is over. The story ends here with Velisai. See you in the next video. Peace out.